Okay, we go, I think. Yep, we go. Okay, awesome. Doesn't seem to be any picture though. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's a picture. Oh, that's lovely, Danny. Thank you. Fitzabelle, good boy. Out you go. Oh, so we're doing a get ready with me while we, wait for people to show up. Because I got owned so hard on Bumble. Oh my god. Hilarious. Like my feelings got hurt quite a lot, but also I have to admit it was funny. Like, my life is being scripted by fucking Larry David. Incredible. Hey, Josh. Actually, a proper get ready with me would probably have, like, the names of the shit I'm using. What is it? Etude House Face Blur. He wasn't lying, that's the thing. He just fucked up. Oh. Just my Twitter. On Bumble. The first guy that, messaged back. Fucking owned me so hard. Without meaning to. Ooh. Yeah, it was interesting. What am I gonna do? Yeah, let's use the blue felt tip one. Yeah. I was like, oh no, my flat's dirty, like... I don't think he was negging though. Also, hi Rob. I think he just, like, made a joke that went wrong. Oh! Is there no mic fixer on the list? Well, the mic is fixed now, so I should probably remove that part of the summary. Oh, lights. He's just young and didn't quite understand the tone. I mean... Oh yeah, I have books with pictures of dead bodies, like, from Amazon, that, I mean, could be a good conversation starter. Did you? You went to that museum? Holy shit. That'd be amazing. Eyeliner. Yeah, I bet it did. Holy shit. I just think that if we tried putting a bunch like, you know when they find a skeleton, like when they found Richard III, if we just tried putting it in a tub and filling it up with blood, or maybe like stem cells or something, would that do something? Like, not necessarily bring him back, but would it? I just think it's worth exploring, you know? Yeah, the electric blue eyeliner, there we go. Whoa. And it's uneven, because of course it is. That's cool. I don't care. Oh no, God, your reply was funny. Crown limo. Clown limo. What am I doing? Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh, I think everybody's here, so this is a weird, not filling up the first 10 minutes with bullshit. Not having to. Was the Mutter Museum about torture? I thought it was just about, like, babies that got born wrong. Well, not necessarily babies, but you know. Oh, John's coming up today. Awesome. Ah, right, yeah, no, I would not want to go to a torture museum. Ah, sorry. I'm painting my face, you see. Painting it the colour of a face. Just so we all know where we stand. Mixing the colours. What? People want to recreate Neanderthals so we can enslave them? What? Jesus. I mean, it's a better idea than let's put the brains of dogs into the bodies of beautiful yet brain-dead women and give them to incels, because that was a take I saw online. But is it? No, it isn't better. It's worse. Because at least the bodies are not being used by people. Good lord. Anyway, this book that we're about to start reading, Daughters of Silence, is about Simon and Angelica. So we're going back. And I'm mixing two different foundations that I bought without, you know, while under lockdown, so I couldn't try samples. One's too dark, one's too light. So I just mix them on my hand. Jesus! I'm not going to the museum with spiders falling on me. That's not a museum. It's a museum of screaming. I went to the Otago, the museum in Dunedin, and I saw a rat king. It was a Victorian forgery, a Victorian fake, but they all are. It was super gross. I hated it, and it was amazing. And I saw a mummy, and I was in the same room with it, and I could see a little bit through the wrappings, and I could see a little bit of its like foot, and it made me feel so weird. Like, that's part of somebody's foot who died, and then they wanted to be like in their tomb and not have people coming and looking at their foot because they were a powerful king or queen or whatever the mummy was. But I saw it, and they would not have wanted that. So, kind of booked it out of that room. Not scared of mummies, I just felt weird. Like that's a foot that used to walk around back in the history times. Used to walk around and like eat sandwiches and go to the toilet and everything. Not the foot, the body. And like, it's crazy to me. Oh, preserved human fetuses. That's horrifying. Don't think I'd enjoy seeing those either. I wish I was a mummy too, Eric. Yeah, I don't think those women would want to have sex with them any more than... Yeah, they would eat something that was like normal sandwiches, but for them. Like a toasty. Okay. I don't want to be part of a Frankenstein. I'm sort of an individualist, you know. Dani was a vampire last year. I mean, I'm not saying she can't be again. She definitely can be. Putting a bit of gold and finishing powder on. You guys can't even see it, but I can. And I'm probably just going to leave my hair how it is. I've actually already... You are always a vampire. You're amazing, Dani. I've already got my Halloween costume. I got it sorted ages ago. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's a straight up vampire. Just gonna do a couple more things to my face and then we can dive back into Fear Street. It was a toss up between Daughters of Silence, revisiting Simon and Angelica, or the one that the title I forgot. Nora Good was pregnant at the end of Fear Street Sagas. She has a baby, and he's also a fear, and then he, you know, grows up and the book's about him. So, you know, spoilers, the curse isn't over. Don't know why I turned the light off when I wasn't done. What an interesting person I must be. That'll do. I'm not flattening your brain pan, I've told you. I don't want to do it. Okay, last makeup thing. So we've got Daughters of Silence, the one about Nora's kid, and another one about Angelica. But this one focuses on the Civil War without ever mentioning slavery, I'm pretty sure. According to the Fear Street Sagas, the Civil War just happened because it happened. Like, oh, well, I guess it's time for brother to fight brother. No one really knows why. We pick up in 1878, Daughters of Silence. Is the hair working? I'm just wearing a fucking old t-shirt, don't matter. So I've heard, yeah. We didn't get taught anything about the Civil War. Or the English Civil War. I don't remember what we did get taught in history, but it was boring. It was like 20th century. I'm not into it. Yeah, I watched a John Oliver piece about it. Pretty explicitly about slavery. Okay, Shadyside Village. My hair looks good? Thank you, Robert. This is how it goes when it dries naturally. Oh yeah, we learned a little bit about our own Civil War, but only in a way that made it so boring that nobody focused on it. The Civil War. Well, we had like a colonizational war. I was only into medieval history, so I didn't pay any attention. Shadyside Village, 1878. Shadyside Station, next stop, Jenna heard the conductor shout. She looked up from her book. Had they reached Shadyside already? As she felt the train slow down, her heartbeat quickened. She couldn't wait to see her best friend Haley again. Yeah, Jenna and Haley are going to meet Simon and Angelica, who have just lost their daughters, Julia and Hannah. It's really subtle, you might not get it. Peering out her window, she saw the village of Shadyside coming into view. Crowded with wagons and horses and buggies, the town's wide main street bustled with midday shoppers. Jenna spotted a big general store, a bake shop, and a post office. Just past Main Street, Jenna caught sight of pretty white houses, standing side by side on quiet, tree-lined lanes. Shadyside Village. Hi, Jessie, the conductor said. The conductor called again from the front of the car. If you're getting off at Shadyside, folks, better get packed up. I have not picked a stupid voice yet. Jenna looked outside again and spotted Haley and her parents on the platform. She leaned out of the window as far as she dared. Haley! Over here, she called, waving frantically. Jenna! Haley squealed as she waved back. Haley lifted her skirts and ran alongside the slowly moving train. Her curly blonde hair lifted on the breeze and her blue eyes sparkled with excitement. Jenna rose from her seat and then grabbed her carpet bag. The fabric of her long dress and petticoat swished as she hurried toward the front of the car. And as the train wheels ground to a stop, she flew down the stairs and straight into Haley's arms. Haley swept her up in a tight hug. "Fa! You won't believe how much I missed you!" she exclaimed. "Well, you're the one who moved away," Jenna teased, pushing her friend up to arm's length. "I declare, you've grown a foot." This is Sean Connery, but there's been no S sounds so far. "Oh, Fa, before you know it, I'll be as tall as yours," Haley retorted. "Oh, Jenna, I'm bloody glad you could spend the whole summer with me. We're going to have such fun." Jenna smiled and squeezed Haley's hand. Haley was her best friend in all the world. As close as sisters, her parents always said. Jenna wished they really could be sisters. Yeah, sisters. Fair straight. I think it's okay to hit women sometimes. I'm Sean Connery. This is defamation. "I can see that you two girls aren't wasting any time catching up, are you?" Jenna heard Haley's father declare with a laugh. She turned to see Haley's parents standing right beside her. Mr. Sheridan still looked tall and thin. His wide smile made her feel warm and welcomed. He wore a dark suit and a high starched collar. His thick black moustache curled up at the ends, adding to his refined air. Mrs. Sheridan looked as pretty as ever. From beneath the rim of her stylish bonnet, her bright blue eyes sparkled as she greeted Jenna. "Welcome to our new home, dear," she murmured. "We're so glad to have you." "Thank you for inviting me." "Can't believe there's been no S sounds," Jenna replied, remembering her mother's instructions about minding her manners. "Let me take your bags, Jenna," Mr. Sheridan offered. He picked up a large suitcase that the conductor had carried off the train for her. "Yeah, I'll take the carpet bag," Hayley insisted. She grabbed up the smaller bag and then linked her arm with Jenna's as they followed Hayley's parents to the street. Mr. Sheridan led them to an open carriage where 2 horses patiently waited, tethered to a post. He set down... Remember, this is olden time. That's why there's a carriage. He set down the suitcase and helped the girls climb in. Jenna took a place next to Hayley on the seat facing forward, and Mrs. Sheridan sat on the seat opposite. It's all fascinating. After tying her case in the back, Mr. Sheridan hopped up on the driver's bench and took the reins. "Giddy up," Mr. Sheridan called to the horses. Kicking up a cloud of dust with their lively gait, the horses set off on the road that led away from the station and village. Their hoofbeats made a gentle clop, clop sound on the hard-packed road. Jenna relaxed and watched the passing scenery. Mrs. Sheridan opened her parasol with a snap. "I've made your favourite dessert for tonight, Jenna." "Peach pie!" No S sounds so far. Fuck! Jenna felt her mouth water as she said the words aloud. Mrs. Sheridan shook her head. 2 peach pies. Fuck, I love Mrs. Sheridan. Jenna spotted a group of young men and women who'd gathered in front of the saddle shop to talk. Because it's olden times, so there's a saddle shop. They seemed right around her and Hayley's age. One girl waved, but the others just watched curiously as the carriage passed by. "Do you like it here?" Jenna asked, turning back to her friend. The other girl shrugged. "Yeah, it's alright. But everyone else has lived here forever. Far out. It's hard to make bloody friends." "You will," her mother promised. "It just takes time. Why is my foundation itchy?" She also said, "Not doing any exercise just to spite you." Well, Jenna's here now, Hayley told her. "We're going to have fun all summer long." 2 peach pies, you say? I was trying to sound like Sean Connery, not trying to sound sexual. Although, it is the same thing. A short time later, Mr. Sheridan turned the horses down a quiet lane on the eastern edge of town and then onto a gravel drive. "Oh, far out, Jenna, it's our house," Hayley announced brightly. A short distance down the gravel drive, Jenna spotted a pale yellow 2-story house with dark green shutters and a tall brick chimney. If it's a euphemism, I don't know what she means by 2 peach pies. I mean, I do, but... The house sat on a long green lawn, and several old oak trees made the place look shady and cool. She liked the wide front porch with its flower boxes and wooden swing. "How pretty!" she exclaimed. We're all going to have to drink when we reach an S sound for Jenna. God. I planned this poorly. Mrs. Sheridan smiled at her response. "Here we are. Watch your step getting out, ladies," Mr. Sheridan announced as he brought the carriage to a halt at the front of the house. Jenna breathed in the fresh scents of the blooming flowers and clean country air. A tantalizing aroma of food wafted on the breeze. Food. And she felt her mouth water again. Something smells delicious, she noticed. There was too many S sounds. This isn't working. Something smells delicious, Highlander, she noticed. Cook should have supper all ready for us, Mrs. Sheridan returned. Girls, you go wash up while I help Cook put the dishes out. Yeah, there were 2 peach pies on the windowsill. And then she looked around and everyone just looked like a big, like, turkey leg in the face. Jenna followed Hayley out of the carriage and into the house. It felt like home to her at once. This was going to be a wonderful summer, she thought. I swear I had the Sean Connery voice before, but all those no S's fucked me up. After a delicious meal, including 2 slices of peach pie each, she and Hayley sat out on the porch swing. It was fully dark now, and the shadowy places beneath the oak trees looked velvety thick and soft. Jenna watched a sliver of moon rise slowly in the sky. She felt a soft breeze, not soft bees, whisper past her cheek, and heard the tree branches creak and sigh. Jenna pulled her feet up onto the seat and wrapped her arms around her knees. Far out! Remember how we used to stay up late and tell ghost stories? Hayley asked suddenly. Do I ever? Jenna replied. She poked Hayley in the shoulder. Remember when you told me that story about the green man? I guess we were only about 8 or 9 years old. Yeah, you thought it was true, Hayley added, grinning. Yeah, it's my tribute to Norm Macdonald by doing a different character. I didn't sleep for a month, Jenna told her. I kept waiting to hear him scratching on my window with his long, jagged fingernails. I could have strangled you when I found out you'd made up the whole thing. I bet I could still make your hair stand on end, Jen, Hayley teased. Not anymore, Jenna retorted. I'm too old to fall for your wild stories, Hayley. Yeah, sure you are, Hayley agreed with a teasing grin. So you won't mind strolling over to the graveyard tonight? I've got a great story to tell you that I heard around town. It'll be way more fun to tell it in just the right setting. Jenna's spine tingled with unease. A graveyard? You're not scared, are you? Hayley challenged. Of course not, Jenna retorted. There's nothing to be afraid of in a graveyard. Then she realised that Hayley had done it again. Well, actually, Jenna realised she'd trapped herself. She shot Hayley a simmering glare, but Hayley only smiled at her. They go into the graveyard to fuck. Finally, Jenna smiled back. You're a twit, Hayley. All right, I'll go. But it's your fault if we have nightmares for the next 10 years. Yeah, come on, Hayley called eagerly. Follow me. She ran. Why did I choose these 2 voices? They're so hard. She ran off the porch and across the front lawn. Jenna caught up with her out on the street. They walked quickly and past 2 other houses, where Jenna saw the front parlour windows glowing with warm light. She felt a sudden urge to turn back. Then she bit down on her lip and kept walking. Oh, they're going to do a Mary Shelley, all right. The street grew darker as only moonlight lit their way. Jenna noticed that the houses had disappeared. On either side of the road she saw only a stretch of thick woods. The damp leaves and twisting tree trunks glimmered in the moon's silvery light. Maybe we should have brought along a lamp, Jenna suggested. Yeah, too late now, Hayley replied with a shrug. Oh, far, there's the entrance. There's a little bit of moonlight. There's a tiny... They've got really good dark vision. Up ahead, Jenna suddenly spotted 2 tall marble pillars covered with patches of green moss. She suddenly spotted the cemetery that was right in front of them. What was she Oh, she was looking at Hayley's ass. That explains it. A wrought iron arch stretched between the pillars. She could barely make out the curling letters of the sign on the arch. She paused and squinted up at it. Shady Shide Cemetery. She slowly read aloud. We've got dark vision. I've got dark vision. Yeah, what'd you think it'd say? Haley chided. Come on, slowpoke. Woohoo, they've gone to the cemetery for a slowpoke. Haley urged as she grabbed Jenna's arm. We don't have all night. My parents will wonder what's happened to us. They'll think we're fucking in the cemetery again. Jenna felt her friend tug her through the gate. The sign's shadow fell across Jenna's face as she passed beneath it, and she felt her body tremble with an involuntary shudder. This is a creepy place, she whispered. Why are you whispering? Haley asked. It's not like anyone can hear us. With a laugh, Jenna threw up her hands. You're right. I suppose I whispered because everyone whispers in graveyards, don't they? Fucking losing it. It's becoming a pirate. Yeah, Haley agreed. Well, she said, I guess they do, but yuck. Leading the way deeper into the cemetery's dark shadows. Rocky and choked with weeds, the winding path curled around the rows of headstones. Jenna felt hard stones pressed through the soft soles of her shoes. In the pale moonlight, the rows of headstones looked like jagged teeth poking up from the earth. Oh, she's gonna... They're gonna fuck in the cemetery. They stood in front of the marble building, and Jenna looked up at the figure. Oh, well that's why that doesn't make sense. I skipped 3 paragraphs. I skipped 3 paragraphs. A thick mist clung to the ground, actually, and the breeze sent pale grey tendrils coiling along the path and around the stone slabs. The air smelled wet. And with each breath, Jenna noticed a taint of something else, a repulsive, foul scent she couldn't quite recognise, but should have been able to deduce. Oh, look! Haley cried, pointing at a large, dark shape ahead. Jenna squinted into the shadows. After a moment, her eyes adjusted and she could make out a small, square building with a domed roof. As they walked closer, Jenna saw a figure perched over the entryway, just in front of the dome. They stood in front of the marble building, and Jenna looked up at the figure. A statue of an angel, she realised. Nothing that unusual to find in a cemetery. Many people liked the idea of placing such a stone guardian over the resting place of a loved one. But this had to be the most hideous angel she'd ever seen. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? And apparently on every branch of the ugly tree as well. The most menacing, malevolent guardian. Carved in black marble and covered with patches of slimy green moss, its monstrous face wore a snarling, sinister expression. Jenna felt a shiver race up her spine. Race down her spine. Fuck! As she gazed up at its disturbing face. The sightless eyes bulged out of their sockets, and its thick lips curled ominously, bearing long pointed teeth. What the fuck? Green moss like spiderwebs hung from the heavy black wings that to Jenna looked far too large for the angel's emaciated body. Leaves falling against the door. Hunched around bony, slouched shoulders, the long feathers tapered to knife-edge points. Jenna's gaze rested on the angel's hands, gnarled claws folded and clasped to its sunken chest. What the fuck? Simon, Angelica, what are you doing? What is this place? Jenna stammered. It's a mausoleum, Haley whispered. The fair girls are buried in there. People say the ghosts roam this place. Jenna swallowed hard. There's no such thing as ghosts, Haley, she declared. I'm changing her voice next chapter, swear to God. Haley leaned her back against a nearby headstone, flirtatiously. Maybe once you hear this story, you'll change your mind about that. Jenna crossed her arms over her chest. I doubt it. This is a fucking gargoyle. Who carved this thing? Why? Yeah, we'll see. Haley tossed her head back and slowly smiled. Yeah, here's the story, right? There are awful rumours about the fears here in Shadyside. Terrible stories. They say Simon and Angelica Fear are evil. They say their daughters died violently. One of the sisters killed the other. Because the girls died violently, their spirits tied to this place forever. The wind tossed the branches of the trees, filling the night with whispers. Jenna could almost imagine voices amid the rustling. She could almost imagine someone watching her from the shadows. She resisted the urge to glance over her shoulder, or up at the hideous angel. That's not even the worst, Haley told her. I know, violently is really hard to say in that, whatever voice that is. People say, she paused for dramatic effect. Her words sounded in a husky whisper. They say that when the Fear girls were buried, their bodies had no bones. They say there are nights when the girls' skeletons walk, not dead and yet not at rest, forever searching for a way to come back to life. What? I haven't read this book since since I was like 10 or 11 or whenever it came out. Their bodies had no bones? What? R.L. Stein's real genius is just coming up with horrific ideas that are also so stupid. It's the night the skeletons come to life. Holy shit. Don't worry, Jenna and Haley. They can pull your hair up, but not out. Because if they pull it out, they turn to bones. Immediately drafted into the skeleton war they were. Simon and Angelica would never allow their daughters to be drafted into the skeleton war, unless it was against the goods. Jenna's eerie mood vanished. Haley, that really is too much. I'd believe in ghosts before I'd believe that ridiculous story. Yeah, maybe you wouldn't say that if you ever saw the look on people's faces around here whenever the name Fear is mentioned. What kind of look? Jenna asked. Almost as if they're fucking terrified. Jenna sighed. Haley, you're too gullible. Remember, you're new in town. Whoever told you that wild story was only teasing you. They probably laughed all the way home. Oh, Jenna. Sometimes I think you're way too sensible for your own good, Haley remarked. Go fuck yourself, she retorted. Look, we'll prove it. We'll walk right up to that mausoleum, and you'll see for yourself that there are no ghouls or ghosts or dancing skeletons anywhere around here. Haley's eyes glinted as she looked around. You sure that's a good idea? Anything that will make you stop believing that wild story is a good idea. Now come on. Taking Haley by the hand, Jenna started walking toward the crypt. Dry leaves rustled underfoot as they made their way through the gravestones. Jenna glanced up at the angel statue. It loomed over them, looking even larger and more menacing. As things do when you get closer to them, it looked larger. Fuck, can you see the inscription yet? Haley asked. Jenna squinted at the letters carved above the lintel. For a moment they seemed almost to squirm. All I can make out from here are the names and dates. Julia Fear and Hannah Fear. They were almost the same ages as we when they died. How sad. A cloud passed over the moon, plunging the cemetery into total darkness. Jenna looked up. Everything looked and felt different. The headstones seemed to shift into twisted, shadowy shapes. Coils of mist looped up from the ground, alive and seeking something. All around, the trees muttered and groaned with 100 voices. I am just going to make a note here that whoever wrote this has no idea how dark the night is. Like, they're not carrying a fucking tinderbox or a fucking... They don't have a torch or a candle or nothing. There's a crescent moon. And no light pollution. They're not seeing shit, you know? Dark vision. They've got dark vision. Come on. Then the air turned cold. Impossibly cold. Enfolding her like an icy shroud, numbing her body until only fear remained. Unable to take another step, she stopped. And as suddenly as it had come, the cold vanished. Jenna shook her head. It all happened so fast. It couldn't have been real. Her imagination had been playing tricks on her, no doubt. And then the clouds passed, revealing the moon once more. Jenna stared down at the inscription again. "Haley!" she called, her heart beating hard, pounding its way right out of her chest. The other girl turned. "Oh, Jenna! Yeah, what's the matter?" "The inscription!" Jenna hissed, forcing the words up through a throat gone tight with fear. "It says, Hannah and Julia, beloved daughters of Simon and Angelica Fear. And it says... What?" Haley demanded impatiently. Jenna took a deep breath. "It says, they are not dead." The end of chapter 1! Yeah, it's a TV night. It's that kind. Dun dun dun. That lipstick was very drying. It's supposed to be nourishing. What's nourishing about drying out your fucking lips? Maybelline. But yeah. That's the beginning of Daughters of Silence. I would have made Haley Burt Reynolds, but I can't do a Burt Reynolds, so. I don't know how they can not be dead after being, you know, stabbed, buried alive, having their bones taken out so the bones can walk around. Unless the skeleton song is true, that they can turn into a man and have another chance at life. Who knows? All I know is that I am hungry now. And I need to tidy up a bit before John gets here. Because at the moment, everything's on the chair where he sits. Like, so much stuff. Please wish me luck. I guess I need to put a lot of washing on. But yeah. I hope nothing bad happens. Thank you. I don't think I'm going to use Sean Connery for Julia again. I mean, Jenna. Because I'm going to use him for little bit players. There's too many lines. It's too hard. I'm going to do something easier on my voice, like Alistair Cookie. Oh, thank you guys. You brighten my day. Also, I'll play some Day of the Tentacle in a bit, once I've cleaned off that chair. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a good day. Be good, and if you can't be good, be clever.